Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Are you preparing to write the JAMB examination? Then watch this video till the end. I believe you can see this structure drawn here, and this is the human kidney. Specifically, this is the internal or the cross section of the kidney. Let's say we take the kidney and cut it into two. So this is the cross section, this is the inside of the kidney. Now it must be noted first that the kidney is divided into two regions, and the regions of the kidney are as follows. The first one is what we call the renal cortex, and anytime we are discussing about the kidney, we use the word renal. So the first region of the kidney is called the renal cortex, while the other region of the kidney is called the renal medulla. Okay, it's called the renal medulla. So on these notes, let me show you the renal cortex and also the renal medulla in this structure. So I believe you can see all of these stuffs that are, empty inside this kidney. It is regarded to be called the renal cortex, whereby this, this structure here, the inside of this structure is regarded to be called the renal medulla. But specifically, this structure that looks like a pyramid is called the renal pyramid. I believe you are following. So moving further, I believe also you can see we have structures that runs through this renal pyramid, which we now know to be, okay, you can see something running through the renal pyramid. They are regarded to be called the functional unit of the kidney. And what's the functional unit of the kidney? It is regarded to be called the nephron. This is very important. The functional unit of the kidney is regarded to be called the nephron. So without this nephron, this kidney will not function. So it is this nephron that does the functions of the kidney. And what are the important functions of the kidney? Number one, for filtration. Okay, another is for reabsorption, and lastly for secretion. So all of these processes are done specifically by the nephron inside the kidney. I believe you are following. So moving further, let us study the nephron together. Now this is the nephron. Let's say I take one of them and stretched the nephron. Let's see the outcome. Okay, let's see the outcome of what I just said. Let's say I take one of the nephron and stretched the nephron. Let's see the outcome. This must be noted. Okay, I believe you can see this will be the head of the nephron, which you are seeing. And also, since we stretch the nephron, it's going to be something like this. Please follow through. Meanwhile, we have structure like this. We have something like this. Okay. This will be the structure of the nephron after we've stretched the nephron. And the nephron is divided into two important parts, which I'll be talking about. It must be noted here that the nephron is divided into number one, what we call the renal corpuscle. This is very important. And also, nephron is made up of what we call the renal tubule. This must be noted. So let us try to understand what I just said about the components of the nephron being divided into the renal corpuscle and the renal tubule. From the word tubule, it's going to look like a tube. So moving further, the renal corpuscle have two parts. We have the first one called glomerulus and the other called the Bowman's capsule. Okay, whereby for the renal tubule, it is divided into the first part called the PCT, which I'll tell you what it means. The other part called the LOH, and also the other part called the DCT, and lastly the CD. So all of these are the components of the renal tube, which I'm going to talk about as we progress. So for the glomerulus, this is the glomerulus. I believe you can see the glomerulus. The glomerulus serves for one particular function, and the function of the glomerulus is basically for filtration. Okay, the glomerulus have a special network of capillaries. The glomerulus will receive blood from what we call the afferent arteriole, but we are not talking about that right now. All we are interested in is to know the specific part of the nephron and the functions that are allocated to them. So this now is what we call the glomerulus, whereby after filtration, the substances that are filtered will enter into what we call the Bowman's capsule. I believe you can see that. Now, it must be noted here that the glomerulus is fenestrated, meaning that there are pores. But in subsequent videos, I'm going to talk more about all of these things. Now, after the substances rather that have been filtered enters into the Bowman's capsule, so this first part of the nephron is regarded to be called the renal corpuscle. Okay, this first part of the nephron is called the renal what? Corpuscle. So after that, it goes to this part of the nephron, and this part of the nephron is called PCT. And what's PCT? Proximal convoluted tubule. So this PCT, whereby this stuff you are seeing that is supposed to be longer a little, this is called the loop of Early. The loop of Early helps for urine concentration, because you already know that the kidney helps to what now? Produce urine. After the substances that came from the Bowman capsule enter the proximal convoluted tubule, there are two processes that occurs here, and there are secretion and also reabsorption, whereby the only process that occurs here is called filtration. This must be noted. Remember, we talked about the three initial functions of the nephron. Number one, filtration done by what? The component of the renal corpuscle, which are the glomerulus and also the Bowman's capsule. And after that, it enters into the renal tubule, whereby this part is called the proximal convoluted tubule. This part is called the loop of Early. This part is called the distal convoluted tubule. And lastly, this part is called the collecting duct. Are you getting me now? So this is the overview about how urine is being formed and also about the components of the nephron. Now, if you find this video lesson helpful, do well to click the subscribe button if you are watching this video on YouTube, and also do well to click on the follow button if you are watching this video on TikTok. Thanks for watching.